Have you opened your news app lately? Have you opened it in the last week, last month, last year? What do you see? Yeah, I thought so. I've been seeing the same thing. And just when you think, God, what a rough couple of months it has been, what a rough year it has been, well, this happens. 5 dead in helicopter crash, Kedarnath. 4 dead in bridge collapse, Pune. 6 injured in flyover slab collapse, MP. 1 injured in zipline belt failure, Manali. All in one day. When rare accidents become frequent, it's not bad luck, it's corruption, lack of safety checks, and no maintenance. I've been seeing all of this, and every once in a while, my brain just goes, what the actual is going on? No, seriously, what is happening? Why is everything around me collapsing? Why do we keep seeing stories of people dying en masse over and over without anything changing? Without any authorities being held accountable. So, I decided to dig a little to understand why, what, where, when, all the things. That was 12 days ago. And in those 12 days that me and my team have been digging and were putting this video essay together, well, more people died. On June 29th, during the Jagannath Rath Yatra in Puri, a stampede killed 3 people. The next day, on June 30th, a factory explosion in Telangana killed over 35 workers. Let me ask you this. How does this make you feel? Angry, sad, frustrated, or just When I was thinking about this video essay, I was going to do it on infrastructure collapse and why it happens. But this feeling, all of these feelings from time to time made me think, I think there is a larger question worth asking here. Every time I look online, whenever such news comes in or some video clips are going viral, someone would be there in the comments who would say, this is India, bro. India is not for beginners. We live life on hard mode. The thing is, all of these disasters and deaths have become a pattern of sorts. So much so that we have become numb to it. We have stopped caring about it or reacting to it. Chances are you will click out of this video right now because your brain can only consume information in 60-second bursts because your brain is fried at this point of time. But wait, don't go. Just don't go. I have a lot to tell you in this video. This is not just a video about infrastructure collapse or about death. This video is about how a country calculates the value of human life. Who does the math? Who gets counted? And who doesn't. Just warning you, this one is going to get a little uncomfortable. But then if you have made peace with people dying for stupid, moronic, preventable reasons, then maybe you need to be a little more uncomfortable. Because I have a bunch of thoughts. What is a human life even worth? And I don't mean this spiritually. I don't mean how many followers you have or what sort of special snowflake you are. I mean literally, numerically. Monetary value in rupees. How much is life worth? Don't blame me. This is unfortunately how we have decided to measure it. So I am going to go with it, at least in the beginning. You see, humans have been trying to crack this life value equation for thousands of years. The American Humanist Association says every person has inherent worth and dignity. Cute thought, but ancient rulers went buying that sort of idealism. Let's go back to Babylon. 18th century BC. There was this guy called Hammurabi. He came up with one of the first known codes of law which literally assigned different values and punishments depending on who died, how, and whose fault was it. In short, if you lived in 18th century Babylon, your worth was measurable and negotiable. Your life had a price tag. Kill a nobleman? Big fine, maybe even death. Kill a slave? Just pay the owner some compensation because slaves are property after all. Hurt someone in the eye? Your own eye might be taken as punishment, unless of course you're a nobleman who is poking a slave in the eye, then a fine would do. If it's the other way around, then death. So yeah, even 4,000 years ago, life came with terms and conditions. Class hierarchy was built into the cost of dying. Fast forward to the modern world, 2025, where we say all lives have equal value, at least in theory. But then comes along this thing called capitalism and says, actually, let's run the numbers. You've all seen the ads. Probably you will get one during this video also.
भैया, घर का किराया देना था. कुछ पैसे.
इस महीने तो गाड़ी की EMI जानी है ना. अगले महीने पक्का. चलता हूँ.
देखो यार, जिंदगी का कोई भरोसा नहीं. पता नहीं कब फोटो पे हार चढ़ जाए और फैमिली का फ्यूचर, बच्चों की पढ़ाई खतरे में पड़ जाए.
This is not a sponsored video. I just wanted to give examples. Policy Bazaar. But in case you do want to sponsor it, it's a great video to sponsor, isn't it? Okay, no. I'm not selling you insurance. I'm not. Basically, this entire insurance industry is designed to scare the shit out of you, make you think about your death, and then force you to get into a system where they assign a value to your life. You pay them a regular premium so that if you happen to die suddenly, then your next of kin will get some money, whatever your life is worth. Capitalism is fun. It is also brutal because behind the scenes, those companies are doing some serious math to figure out what you're actually worth. Wait a minute, let me show you. So this is the ICICI human life value. Ensure your loved ones are adequately secured. Current age 30. Expected retirement age 60. Annual income, let's go with 3 lakh rupees a year. Savings 0. Loans and liabilities 0. Existing life cover 0. Required life cover to secure your loved ones is 72 lakh. Okay, let's reduce the retirement age because I want to retire early. Recalculate 57 lakh. Let's increase the income to double. Increase retirement age 1.44 crore. Nice. Oh, if I have EMIs to pay, let's say a loan of 10 lakh, 1.54 crore. In short, life is worth how much you earn, how many years you still have left till you retire, what your current outstanding debts are, and inflation. Some even ask for details about your spouse, how much they earn, and your children. Once you put all of that in, the machine goes brrrr, and out comes a number which says, this is how much you are worth, good sir. Oh, and here is how much you will pay us to make sure that your family gets your life's worth after you die suddenly. Okay? Be afraid. Be very afraid. Pay your premium.
पता नहीं कब फोटो पे हार चढ़ जाए.
Let's say someone is earning 25,000 rupees a month and uses this calculator to run the numbers. Fun fact, by the way, that puts them in the top 10% income bracket in India. Yes, 25,000 rupees a month. That's it. And even their calculated life value is depressingly low. So think about it. If the top 10% earners of this country are barely worth anything, what does that say about the remaining 90%? Just a small detail nearly 40 crore individuals in India have zero access to health insurance. Under 70% of our population is estimated to be covered under public health insurance or voluntary private health insurance. The remaining 30% of the population are devoid of any sort of insurance. 30%! That's a giant number in a country like India. Alright, just to be clear, I'm not saying insurance is bad, because if you do die suddenly, it is always good that the next of kin, which is dependent on you, would get some money as a result. But in a very weird way, doesn't this entire process feel like you are actually being devalued while they are valuing you and finding out your worth? You are devaluing yourself. I mean, think about it. How will this insurance company know what amazeballs things you will do for the rest of your life? What potential you have? You are 25, the world is your oyster. You might do a startup. You might be the next Jeffrey Bezos who hires the entirety of Venice for his marriage. Then you jump into your shaped rocket and fly into space to celebrate your honeymoon. Why not? You can dream. What do these bloody insurance companies know about you anyway? How dare they underestimate your actual worth? Here's the thing, even if these private insurance companies have reduced your worth by using calculators and doing some math, you know, your actual worth, your potential as a human being, your dreams, your dick rocket ambitions, yeah, even if they have done that, there is one entity that is not supposed to do that. That one is meant to see you not as a premium payer, but as a citizen. A citizen whose value matters. A citizen whose value matters as the next citizen. Our government. For them, your worth isn't supposed to be decided by calculators, algorithm, or actuaries. It's supposed to be protected by the Constitution and valued by the Constitution. But is it? Or are they just pulling numbers out of a spreadsheet and slapping a price tag on corpses? Dark, I know, but it's true. Tell me, what is your... Okay, here is a not so fun fact. India sees 95 lakh deaths every single year. That's 9.5 crore dead people in one decade. Guess how many of these got insurance compensation from the government? The answer is 10.5 lakh people. That's about it. Right now, the government runs two benevolent insurance schemes. Pradhan Mantri Suraksha Bima Yojana. In case you die in an accident, the government will give you 2 lakh rupees, or your family will get 2 lakh rupees because you're dead. The second is Pradhan Mantri Jeevan Jyoti Bima Yojana. This is a general life insurance scheme. If you die because of any other cause, your family will get 2 lakh rupees. That's it, 2 lakh rupees. Doesn't matter who you were or what you did, the government has decided that your entire existence as a human being is worth the cost of, well, an iPhone Pro. And when you look at the enrollment figures of both of these schemes, it's not great either. As of May 2025, 51 crore people are enrolled in Suraksha Bima Yojana and 23 crore are in the Jeevan Jyoti scheme. Okay, so have these schemes been working properly at least? In the last 10 years, Suraksha has paid out for 1.57 lakh deaths, which comes to around 3,100 crore rupees total. And Jeevan Jyoti has paid for 9 lakh deaths, which comes to 18,000 crore rupees total. Which means that out of the 9.5 crore people who died in the last decade, the government directly helped just 10.5 lakh people. That, my dear friends, sounds distressing as hell, I know. But wait, you must be thinking the slack must have been picked up by private insurance company or even government-backed LIC. You know, LIC which keeps buying Adani shares. That one? Well, they're also trying. But even after trying for so many years, nearly 40 crore individuals in India have zero access to any sort of insurance, which is very bad for the country. That just beats about $4 billion economy Vishwaguru. Yay! Yeah, it's bad. LIC right now is the biggest insurance company in the country, but even there the total number of individual policies in force is somewhere around 28 crore. Suffice to say, Whether it's government schemes or private players or LIC, a lot of Indians are just not covered. So, what do you do in a country like India where insurance coverage is lagging and a lot of people still die? How do dead people get the value that they deserve? The answer is, well, you... Okay, this video is about to take a bit of a morbid turn. I'm just warning you, but I'm going to serve you some brutal truths to your face. If you are uninsured, the best way for you to increase your value is to die dramatically. The government might not value you while you are alive, but the moment you die publicly, spectacularly, in a flood, a fire, a stampede, or a conveniently televised train accident, which our real minister uses to do some good old PR, yeah, then you are valuable. That's when the money starts rolling in towards you. I mean, your corpse is valuable because you are dead. Your family will get the money, obviously. As I said earlier, your national corpse MRP completely depends on how you die. Let's start with natural disasters, shall we? What does the government do in case people die in natural disasters? The government has a fixed policy. If you die in an officially declared natural calamity, yes, they have to declare a calamity as a natural calamity for this to be activated. If you die in one of those, your family is entitled to 4 lakh rupees. It used to be 1.5 lakh rupees until 2015 when someone in the Home Ministry decided that maybe, just maybe, a human life is worth a bit more than that. So floods, earthquakes, landslides, cyclones all come with a fixed compensation of 4 lakh rupees per life lost, ideally. But as I keep reminding you, we don't live in an ideal society. Far from it. For instance, after COVID-19 pandemic struck and caused mega death in India, the government decided to give a paltry sum of 50,000 rupees per death. I mean, that was a natural disaster too, right? And it was declared. So 4 lakh rupees should be the amount. Why 50,000? Why? But that's the thing. The way people die and what they get as compensation is very, very arbitrary at times. To show you how wild this gets, let me tell you about man-made disasters. Infrastructure failures, transport accidents, stampedes, and other everyday Indian tragedies which you have grown numb to. Here is a rate card. Yes, there have been so many of these over the last few years that we were able to make a rate card. Plane crash. Example, the Air India tragedy that happened in Ahmedabad recently. Compensation 1.25 crore. That's generous, right? But it's still less than the 1.6 crore mandated by the Montreal Convention. But hey, we are trying there. Train accident, 5 lakh rupees. Whether you're run over by a local or crushed in a derailment, this is the standard compensation for a railway accident death, 5 lakh rupees. This is exactly what was paid out in case of the accidental deaths that happened at the Mumbai local in early June. Road rage, 2 lakh. This used to be 25,000 rupees, but in 2022 they decided 2 lakh. Infrastructure collapse, 5 lakh per victim. But this one is varied. There was a bridge collapse in Pune last month. For this, the victims were compensated 5 lakh rupees. But for the Silkyara tunnel collapse, remember that? Trapped workers were given 2 lakh per person. Do you see a strange pattern here? No? Okay, wait. Let me tell you about the stampedes. Delhi railway station stampede, 10 lakh per victim. Earlier this year, there was a stampede at the Delhi railway station and victims were hurriedly given 10 lakh rupees in cash. This is confusing because if you get crushed by a train, then you get 5 lakh rupees. But if you get crushed on a platform, you get 10 lakh rupees? In January this year, at least 40 people died during the Mahakumbh in Prayagraj. The UP government announced a compensation of 25 lakh per victim. I guess dying during a holy celebration automatically increases the value of your life. You know, holy occasions like the Mahakumbh or an IPL celebration. Last month, there was a stampede during one such holy occasion, an IPL celebration in Bengaluru. In this case, victims were given 25 lakh from the government and 5 lakh from the Royal Challengers Bangalore cricket team. So, a total of 30 lakh rupees. Now do you see it? Do you see the pattern? Okay, let me just do a recap of the rate list. Die on the road because of an asshole driver, 2 lakh rupees. Get trapped in a tunnel, 2 lakh rupees. Die under a bridge collapse, 5 lakh rupees. Die under a train, 5 lakh rupees. Die while getting on a train in a stampede, probably 10 lakh rupees in cash. Die while getting your soul cleansed at the Mahakumbh, 25 lakh rupees. Die while celebrating your favorite cricket gods earning crores after playing a billionaire-owned private tournament, 30 lakh rupees. Die in an airplane crash, 1.25 crore rupees. Welcome to the Great Indian Compensation Lottery, because the price tag of your corpse is completely arbitrary and totally dependent on your luck. I mean, think about it this way. You dying might be considered an unlucky occurrence, but where and how you die is based on pure luck. Because in India, dignity in death isn't earned, it is awarded. You should be grateful for it. Based on your location, religion, media coverage, and vibes. Why does this happen, you ask? It's because of... Here's the truth nobody wants to say out loud. In India, your life becomes valuable only when your death is politically useful. It's not about justice, it's not about empathy, it's about damage control, photo ops, and reels, of course.
ऐसा है, केवल रील बनाने वाले लोग नहीं हम मेहनत करने वाले लोग हैं, काम करने वाले लोग हैं। आपकी तरह रील बना के दिखाने वाले लोग नहीं हम, समझे ना? बैठो।
Wait, I can do you one better. When the Air India crash happened last month in Ahmedabad, everyone went crazy. It became international news because multiple nationalities were involved. You know, white people, British people. Immediately, there was a quick compensation announcement, press briefings, and official condolences. Just for comparison, there are still families of people who died during the Mahakumbh stampede who are still waiting for compensation. They didn't get it. They had to go to court. But after the air crash, Civil Aviation Minister was on site within hours. Compensation of crores was handed off immediately. And not just that, our prime influencer decided to grace the occasion and did this. Prime influencer for a reason. The photographer must have done all crawly on the floor to get like this glorious angle. Like, प्रधानमंत्री जी थोड़ा साइड में आ जाइए, वो दिखना चाहिए. Yes, amazing. You look glorious, prime influencer ji. I know, cringe. Compare this to the Balasore train accident in Odisha. Normally, the compensation for railway deaths is 5 lakh rupees. But in this particular case, victims were given 10 lakh rupees. Why? Because the media heat on this was intense. The story was everywhere and it became a political inconvenience. In short, if an accident generates too many headlines, too many dead bodies, too much public anger, then the price of the corpses go up. Not because the dead were worth more, but because the government needs the outrage and the questions to die down quickly. Another example, take the devastating terror attack in Pahalgam. Victims were from multiple states, and suddenly it turned into a political compensation bidding war. The Jammu and Kashmir government gave 10 lakh to the victims. Haryana and Maharashtra gave 50 lakhs, but only to victims of their state. And then Assam came out of nowhere and gave 5 lakhs to all victims, even those from other states. Oh, sorry, wait, just have to add this to our rate list real quick. So, death by terrorist, let's see. 10 plus 50 plus 5 plus... Wait, is this an infinite money glitch? Probably. Because in case of the terror attack, governments across the board are desperate to look good. They want to look super nationalist, super patriotic and gain votes in the process. The Mahakumbh stampede victims got a higher compensation because they were literally at a major religious event. There is no other reason. Multiple celebrities were visiting that same event to cleanse their souls. Shank baja. Sorry, Shaktiman. Sorry. As I was saying, multiple celebrities were visiting that same event to cleanse their souls by taking a dip in the Ganga. So the value of the people dying near them went up. IPL celebration stampede, same to same. Now do you see the trend? If your death makes someone in power look bad, they'll pay to clean it up. If your death helps someone in power look good, then they'll pay even more. In India, unfortunately, the value of your life is totally dependent on how someone in power can exploit it politically. It is also a tool to buy your silence. Understand this. The faster compensation is awarded after a disaster, the more responsible the government is. If you start questioning loudly why a bridge collapsed, or why 3 trains just crashed into each other, or why there was no crowd control at an event, then the government will go, "Shut up and take this money. Take it. Shut up." Just for a second, imagine this scene. A tragic train accident has occurred and our real minister goes to visit a victim's family. He goes to the family and says, "Here is 5 lakh rupees for your loss. My condolences. But just so you know, if your daughter had died at an IPL party or a train collision, yeah, we would be giving you more. IPL party mein 6 times more. Okay, so next time, die better." I know it's very crude to think this way, but this is exactly what is happening. And the saddest part is, we have all accepted this. We see this happening all around us all the time. And we just move on. Tragedy after tragedy, death after death. It has made us numb as people. We are victims of something called the bystander effect. It's a psychological phenomenon where the more people there are around, the less likely anyone is to help. Because everyone is waiting for someone else to step in. Someone else will file the complaint. Someone else will raise their voice. Someone else will say,
I don't think this is okay. I actually think this is quite pathetic what this government is doing. This was a preventable death.
"Hey, you shut up and take this money. Shut up." And when everyone expects someone else to do something, then nobody ends up doing anything. That is the bystander effect. In India, this effect is not just psychological, it is systemic. It is deeply cultural. We've gone from being just bystanders who watch a tragedy and do nothing, to zombies who are hunched over their cell phones and watch other things so that they can do nothing. We've almost convinced ourselves that even if we complain and raise our voices, nothing will happen anyway. Because somewhere deep down, we have accepted that life is cheap and death is normal here. Basically, we are all just one pothole, one collapsed flyover, one bridge hole, one overcrowded festival away from becoming another compensation statistic. Our worth is being decided by an arbitrary rate card that powerful people have just come up with based on optics and perception of that tragic event. Whew. I know this is very heavy. During the shooting of this video, there were times I stopped myself from going into like outright outrage territory, totally off script. Yeah, I need to calm down, and I think you need to as well. So, here, take a mental health break. You needed that, didn't you? Now, let's talk about how do we deal with all of this. On that, I have a bunch of thoughts. It's time for brutal truths. Go back to the question we started with. What is the value of human life? What is it worth? Is it the 2 lakh rupees you got from a government insurance scheme? Is it the 30 lakh you get if you die dramatically enough for a news cycle? Is it the 1.25 crore if you die because you were holding a boarding pass? Or is it nothing? Because let's be real, there are people who just don't get any compensation. They don't get insurance claims either because they are not covered. Sometimes families don't even get the dead bodies of the people who died. Some unfortunate victims don't even make it to the headlines. They're just numbers in a forgotten district collector's report. And that is when the brutal truth hits you. There is no consistent value for human life in India. No, none, zero. Yeah, and you know what's worse? Let alone dying, even when you're living, sometimes your life is worth nothing for the government. Last year, there was this major controversy around India and its $4 billion spice and masala export market. Health agencies in the country around the world began investigating products from MDH and Everest masala and discovered that they contained higher than allowed levels of cancer-causing pesticide. This led to Singapore and Hong Kong banning the sales of some of these spices. This also led the US and EU to have concerns over this, and data indicated that nearly 15% of spice shipments from MDH were already being rejected because of bacterial contamination with salmonella. So, if the government actually cared about human life, what would they do in this situation? They would pull up these companies, test their products, make sure that they are not harming the customers, punish these companies by imposing heavy fines, and ensure that future products are safe for everyone to consume. Did the government do any of that? No, of course it didn't. I mean, you saw that coming. Well, it actually managed to make it worse. Our Food Safety and Standards Authority of India, FSSAI, just allowed 10 times more pesticide residue in spices and herbs. Simple? It's simple. When companies don't meet safety standards, you just lower the standards only. Easy. You know what? Shit like this really gets my goat. It makes me angry as hell. I think every citizen, every Indian human person has a value, and it is our government's literal responsibility to ensure living in this country is worth something. The fact that our government doesn't care makes me mad. It just makes me angry all the time. I don't know about you. Do you care? I have to ask you. No, I'm looking at you. Yes, don't look away. Do you care? I know, we are all busy. Yes, capitalism is weighing on everybody's head. Yes, we would all crumble. It will affect our mental health if we care about every single tragedy all the time. But do you care even a little bit? If you do, why don't you follow up? Why don't you hold people accountable? Why don't you find out if people actually got compensation? Why don't you find out if anybody was held responsible for a man-made disaster? Why are you so dependent on people like me to do it for you? Why do we as a collective not care? The first reason is we are selfish. We only think of ourselves and those directly connected to us, our families, relatives, friends. When it comes to others, we kind of go like, fall into a diffusion of responsibility and let the bystander effect take over. We would rather sit back and complain occasionally, just enough to feel like we care. A BBC report in April pointed out that a road death occurs every 3 minutes in India. But for a lot of us, the reaction is just,
These things happen. Death is common.
So many people. You see, there are so many people. Zero civic sense.
India is not for beginners, okay?
this sort of apathy filters upwards as well. When you stop caring, governments don't need to care either. On top of this, reason number 2, our attention spans are kind of fried. The things we wouldn't have accepted even 10 years ago, we just now scroll past because there is so much to look at. Do you remember Muhammad Akhlaq? Yeah? It has been 10 years since he was lynched because a crazy mob found suspicious meat in his fridge. Here is a news flash for you. A little bit of a reality check. In just the span of last year, since Modi came to power, there were 8 more incidents of lynching like Akhlaq in the last year alone. But even gruesome incidents like these don't seem to matter anymore because we are so deeply classist also. Yes, that is reason number 3. Something happens to a celebrity or a rich person, wall-to-wall coverage, headlines, sirens, breaking news, all day, every day. But if it happens to a poor person, Dalit, a migrant worker, just silence. Did you know over 400 people have died due to manual scavenging in the last 5 years? Despite it being banned, it is literally outlawed. It is a crime. Did we see wall-to-wall coverage about this? No, we didn't. Because this is a casteist practice and the Lashkar-e-Noida media is owned by the Brahmin Baniya lobby and they are kind of blind to this. Casteism is still quietly accepted. The value of human life is cheap in India because of all of these reasons. And when someone comes along to actually question this and raise their voice, we do some good old social gaslighting, also known as victim blaming. Because when people died at that IPL stampede, there were literal commentators who jumped in to blame the crowd for hero worshipping the cricketers. Oh, and they didn't apply the same logic about hero worship to a religious festival like Mahakumbh because doing so will hurt religious sentiments. In that case, it is not worship at all. It is just fact of life, I guess. Super convenient. Told you, brutal truths. You know, I usually like to end my videos on a bit of a hopeful note. Is there any hope in sight? Is it possible to raise human value to at least an equitable level in India which matches everybody else? Honestly, I don't know. I don't have a grand solution for you. There is no moral to this story. I thought that it would be worth collecting all of this information and putting it together with a slight hope that it would make people think and care about all of these things a little bit more. Maybe the full picture of the situation would ring some alarm bells in your head, because next time when you see a tragedy, you just don't scroll past it. You actually think about it and think about who should be held responsible, who should be getting compensation. Maybe a few months later, you will go and follow up and actually find out if anybody was held responsible, if anybody got compensation. I just hope at least we do that. Because I have accepted the fact that nobody is coming to save anyone here. Nobody is coming to save me or you. Nobody is going to randomly start valuing your life more. Not the government, not corporations, not insurance companies, not society, not your building's WhatsApp uncles. Definitely not them. And not those bhakt type bhaj pille. You are on your own unless you are loud and inconvenient. Yes, if you're that kind of person who asks too many questions and refuses to shut up, then you matter. Because in this country, the only time you are worth anything is when you are a problem for someone in power, when you are a problem for someone in authority. So be a problem, be annoying, buzz around the government like you're a mosquito till they get annoyed. Okay, maybe that's not the best example. Yeah, sorry. You're not a mosquito. But you get my larger point, right? Be a person who doesn't stop shouting. Be a person who gets under the skin of people in authority until they are at least forced to take notice and respond. I'm just sitting here to give you brutal truths, okay? That's how the system works now. If you want your life to matter, then you have to make it matter. Be selfish. Value your own life because nobody else is going to. Yeah, that's about it. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.